Video games, books, movies, and comics, no matter where you look, there are wizards everywhere. Sure, some of them like to be called warlocks or sorcerers or mages, but as long as it's a magic-wielding dude, I'm gonna be counting down the 10 greatest. So hey, I'm Nervous Nick for Screw Attack's Top 10 Wizards.
Number 10.
In the very first Final Fantasy, you couldn't run a team without having a mage. Okay, that's a complete lie, but why wouldn't you want one? Final Fantasy I gave you 3 mages to choose from, but our number 10 wizard's gotta be the Black Mage. Compared to other wizards, maybe some would see the Black Mage as boring, but we say he's more classic. He can teleport, he can manipulate elements like fire, electricity, and ice, speed up allies, slow down enemies, and even has a spell that can one-shot kill, like, everyone, if you're lucky enough for it to actually land. The Black Mage's face, or lack of face, is one of the most recognizable from any classic Final Fantasy game. But why isn't he called the Blue Mage? I mean, it's kind of the main color he's got. Oh, that's why.
Number 9.
90s arcades were full of fighting game trademark sayings like, or our next wizard's personal catchphrase,
"Your soul is mine."
Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat may shoot flaming skulls everywhere, but his signature thing was transforming into the other fighters. Mr. Tsung has stayed in the game by sucking out the souls of his victims. You know, just to keep active and stay out of those outworld nursing homes. This let him continue practicing for Mortal Kombat tournaments for years to come, and even master the most forbidden dark magic of all, the Purple Nurple of Death. Hey, that's not just rude, that is true evil.
Number 8.
Most wizards on this list usually fight by shooting colored beams or whatever, but only one uses giant monsters. When Lord Zedd first showed up on Power Rangers and kicked Rita Repulsa out, we all knew that this guy meant business. Unlike Rita, Zedd's wizardry lets him shoot lightning and create monsters without having to use Finster's weird little machine thing. And he totally does that one thing like Moses from the Bible where he's got a snake that turns into a staff. Don't screw with any guy who's got a snake staff. But the main reason Zedd's on this list is, like I said, he's the only wizard whose main form of fighting is to create giant city-destroying monsters. I'm just saying, if I were a wizard, that is the first thing I'd want to be able to do.
Number 7.
Alright, when you think of The Legend of Zelda, you might think of like adventure and dungeons and weapons, but magic has always been a low-key important factor behind all that stuff. And there's no better wizard in Hyrule than the great king of evil himself, Ganondorf. Whether he's a giant blue pig or has eyebrows attached to his red mane, seriously, what's up with that? He's more than deserving of his title. With his evil magic and the Triforce of Power, Ganondorf can throw balls of electricity, possess his enemies, summon ghosts, and yes, become a freaking pig. Not enough for you? How about the fact that he's conquered or nearly conquered Hyrule dozens of times and keeps reincarnating to try it again and again? Ganondorf's a persistent boy.
Number 6.
You look at the Jedi in Star Wars and you think to yourself, yeah, they're basically just a bunch of space wizards. There's a lot to choose from, but Yoda is about as close to a classic wizard as you're gonna get here. Except for Obi-Wan, but like, you know, Yoda. It's cool. Yoda's cool because unless you've seen Star Wars before, you don't expect him to be this great and powerful guy. He's just this crazy old frog who lives in a swamp. But back in the Clone Wars, he was a surprisingly acrobatic fighter. Pretty spry for a little dude his age. And even as an old geezer, he could lift an X-Wing like it was nothing, and after he died, he came back as a Force ghost. Yoda was always there to illustrate what the power of the Force could let you do. And thanks to this little wizard, we always wanted it for ourselves. And also lightsabers, mostly just the lightsabers though.
Number 5.
Wizards can come from any corner of the earth, including ancient Arabia. I mean, that's kind of where the whole idea of magic genies comes from. And no, I'm not talking about the Robin Williams character. No, I'm not talking about Jafar. I'm talking about Aladdin. Anime Aladdin. In Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic, this blue-haired kid is a little bit like Yoda for being small yet strong. Like a proper wizard, Aladdin fights with a wand to make gigantic sand people and shoot elemental attacks and stuff, but can we talk about how he's got a naked ripped genie living in his magical flute? Look how shredded he is!
Number 4.
Speaking of Aladdin, what about a wizard who wears a cape that's just like the magic carpet? Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, doesn't just rock one of the coolest capes of all time, but his magical arsenal is easily top 10 worthy as well. Bandicoot Thundersnatch can do pretty much everything a wizard worth their wand can do and then some. He can open portals, reverse time, and did you know that he can't die from old age? Must be nice. But Benadryl Cabbage Patch's signature ability is his famous astral projection, which lets him separate his spirit from his body to do basically whatever he feels like. And listen, we all know having a full-blown beard is very wizardy and all, but look at how sophisticated that goatee is. Looking good there, Burlington Coat Factory.
Number 3.
Okay, I know some of you are already looking at Alakazam and shouting at your screens all the reasons that this psychic-type Pokemon doesn't belong on a wizard's list. But look at it this way. His psychic powers are basically just wizard powers with a different name. Mega Alakazam's got the beard of a wizard. Oh, and this is kind of a big one. His name is literally Alakazam! But more importantly, Alakazam should, by all rights, be one of the most powerful Pokemon ever. He's got teleportation, precognition, healing powers, all the jazz you'd expect. But the coolest things about him come from the Pokedex. Yeah, I know it's kind of a dubious source, but screw it. According to the Pokedex, Alakazam can see a person's entire life just by looking at them. He's got an IQ of over 5,000, and anything you eat using one of his spoons tastes delicious. Do you mean to tell me that I could put a Carolina Reaper chip in a spoon and it would taste good? If that ain't magic worth celebrating, I don't know what is.
Number 2.
There are 2 incredibly popular wizards we have not mentioned yet, so you know that they're topping our list. If you don't know who they are, you should probably watch more movies. Or read. Both of them are super deserving of their high marks, but we're gonna give the number 2 spot to the one and only Albus Dumbledore. You can't talk about magical dudes without bringing the world of Harry Potter into the conversation, and the headmaster of Hogwarts is the best in his universe. It seems like there's no spell that he can't do, and even though we very rarely ever get to see him in action, the times we have were pretty awe-inspiring. Truth be told, we almost put his eternal rival Voldemort on this list instead. But you know who the only wizard Voldemort ever feared was? Freaking Dumbledore! Plus, the last time I checked, Dumbledore wasn't trying to become magical Hitler, so that's kind of a plus.
It's number 1.
Come on, who else was it even gonna be? Gandalf is the quintessential wizard. He's got the beard, he's got the hat, he's got the staff, but more importantly, he's an insanely powerful wielder of magic. Remember that one time he battled the Balrog? Okay. See, this was the moment when most people would have looked at this and felt sorry for Gandalf, but I actually felt sorry for the Balrog. Gandalf fought this thing for 10 non-stop days before finally killing it and coming back as the even more powerful Gandalf the White. That is the single manliest thing on this entire list. I'm gonna spare you the extensive lore of the rings here, but short version, Gandalf was sent to Middle-earth for the sole purpose of saving the world from Sauron. He organized the Fellowship, he fought in the War of the Ring, and he's always showing up at the last second to save the day. And isn't a Gandalf Ex Machina kind of what you want from your wizard? For our secret number 11, any wizard who goes up against the Thundercats deserves a lot of respect in our book. With a magic spell, Mumra can turn his shrimpy body into a Schwarzenegger-esque godlike physique. That alone is worth putting him here for. And like he always says,